welcome to the Oakmont Carnegie Library. I'm Miss Karen, the Youth Services Librarian. We are celebrating Read Across America Week, and I was asked to talk about a book that has inspired me as a young teen. The book that I selected was A Wrinkle in Time by Medeleine L'Engle. So before you think lame and check out on me, or scream out lame, like my 17-year-old did, hear me out on this one, because it does have some really interesting elements to it that actually inspired me. Here are some fun facts about A Wrinkle in Time. This is what my copy looked like in 19-something-something. You have to remember this was the 70s, so this is what a lot of books kind of looked like. This is what the art looked like back then. What is this book about? A Wrinkle in Time is the story of Meg Murry, a high school-aged girl who is transported on an adventure through time and space with her younger brother, Charles Wallace, and they call him the full Charles Wallace throughout the entire book, and her friend Calvin O'Keefe to rescue her father, a gifted scientist, from the evil forces that hold him prisoner on another planet. This has themes of light and darkness, good and evil, spirituality and purpose, and overtones of love, divinity, and goodness, which sounds super boring, but again, hear me out. So this is one of the things I liked about the author. She had the perseverance to try again until she succeeded, and she did. This was rejected by more than 24 publishers. If you saw this cover in a book store today, would you pick it up and be like, oh, this looks awesome, or would you run the other way? But think back again, this is like in the 1970s. It looks terrifying to me, but I was inspired by it. I liked it. So she weathered 26 rejections before a publisher finally took a chance. Many publishers were nervous about acquiring the novel because it was too difficult to categorize. So for those of you that have read this, what would you say the genre is? It's murky. It's a murky genre, but it ended up making the book a success. So, is it science fiction? Is it fantasy? And one of the things that I really liked about this book, because there weren't many back in the day, how dare there be a female protagonist? So, back in the early 60s, mid-70s, when I read this, men dominated science fiction up until then. So a lot of the main characters that I would pick up as a young teen in books were men. There were not a lot of strong female characters. The uncommon choice of a female heroine contributed to her struggles of getting the book into stores. She rejected these categories and insisted that her writing was for anyone. Once it hit the bookstores, its slippery categorization stopped being a drawback. So she held her own, she got published, and she actually opened the door for other book authors to create things that were also murky with their genre, which is awesome. There's strong elements of science in this book, which is really cool. Einstein sparked L'Engle's interest in quantum physics and tesseracts. So she was never a strong math student, and I wasn't either. I could identify with that. But I could identify with some of the themes that were in this book, and they did inspire me to learn a little bit more about science as well. As an adult, she found herself drawn to the concepts of cosmology and nonlinear time after picking up a book about Albert Einstein. This is way before the movie Interstellar, which I'm sure many of you have seen, and they talk about tesseracts. So she was way before her time talking about these things. Sometimes you think movies and things that you see today are very cutting edge, but they are actually hearkening back to some of the stuff, that was published and produced in the 60s and 70s. This is a banned book. It's in the top 100 most frequently banned or challenged books. What is the #1 banned book? Do you know? Harry Potter, of course, is always #1 on the list. But why was this book banned and challenged so frequently? Well, it was considered too complicated for children. Too much fancy thinking in this one. Plucky female protagonist was unheard of, and that offended some groups. It mixed science and religion, how dare they? And they felt that it encouraged witchcraft. Some of the characters you can see in this book, a little witchy. So you might want to check out the characters. Even some of their names might make some religious group leaders be like, well, I don't know if kids should be reading this. So this has withstood the test of time. It has sold over 14 million copies. I liked the edginess of it as well, and that's what inspired me to be more interested in other books, and of course become a children's librarian. We do have the graphic novel, A Wrinkle in Time. I'm in front of the graphic novel section of the young adult section at the library here. It has won the Newbery Medal, Sequoia Book Award, Lewis Carroll Shelf Award, and a runner-up for the Hans Christian Andersen Award. Many versions of the book. You can get this on MP3. You can get this, of course, downloadable audio. It was adapted into a play, an opera, of course, the graphic novel, 2 movies, which I don't recommend. I think if you're going to check this out and hadn't read it, I would go with either the graphic novel or the old schooly book. Like I said, I'm in front of the graphic novels here in the young adult section of the Oakmont Library. So make sure you come on up and see me. Let me know what you think of this book. Let me know what other books you want me to order for our collection. And thanks for watching.